Hello, everyone. Welcome. I see people are trickling in. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us. Welcome to our first open community call for the Shifting Power Community of Practice. We've been preparing for this call for a long time, so we're very excited to have you here. I'm Sarah, and I use the she, her pronouns. I'm an Iranian woman with long dark hair wearing a dark gray turtleneck today. I'm one of the founding team members of this community, and you'll also have a chance to meet my amazing colleagues and co-founders throughout this call. But before we get started, just a note that we are recording this call for internal learning purposes only. Only the presentation portion of this call, so the next 20 minutes, will be shared with all participants. The breakout rooms that we'll have after and the community discussion portion of the call will be kept private to allow for everyone to feel safe and participate fully. Now, before we get started, I would like to share some guidelines that will help make this call more inclusive to all attending. So firstly, while you're in this main plenary room, make sure to click the mute button at the bottom of your screen. If you would like to share a comment or question, you can use the chat or click on the raise hand symbol. And online meetings can feel lonely, so we would love to see your faces. However, we also understand that there might be many reasons that it's not feasible for you to turn on your camera, and that's perfectly fine. If you would like to turn on your camera, use the bottom left of this, the button on the bottom left of this Zoom window. You also have the option to turn on live closed captions and transcript for the call by clicking the buttons at the bottom of your window. We have chosen to have translated closed caption feature on this call, and it's available in over 40 languages and dialects. So you can select the CC button in a language you're more comfortable with to have closed captions in that language. We also highly encourage you to participate in this call and also participate in a way that is hopefully reflective of shifting power. So what that looks like is that we each need to reflect on the power we might hold in this space and make sure we give space to the voices we don't often hear in our work and in our sectors. And lastly, as much as we would like to hear from you, you're also welcome to choose not to participate at any time, including when we later in the call divide up for the breakout rooms. So this is our founding team. We are a group of 7 diverse nonprofit professionals and social impact entrepreneurs with a commitment to co-creating and sustaining an inclusive virtual community for the shifting power movement. There are currently 5 active founding members. Present on this call today, we have Mauro or Maya, Estelle, Anat, Ricardo, and myself. Estelle and I will guide you through the presentation.
Hi.
Anat will facilitate the community visioning exercise later on.
Hi, everyone.
Maya will be moderating the chat.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here with you today.
And Ricardo will be managing the slides and ensuring a smooth flow of the presentation.
Hello, everyone.
So now we'd love to hear from you. If you're comfortable doing so, please tell us about yourself. We have about 80 people registered on the call today, and I see around How many people have joined us so far? I see 23 people on the call right now. So just given that we're a larger group, we appreciate for you to keep yourselves on mute and type your responses in the chat. But we'd like to know, one, what is your name? What are your pronouns? Where are you joining us from? And if you know the indigenous peoples of your land, we welcome that information as well. And as a bonus, you can also share with us one emoji about how you're feeling today. So maybe you're feeling a little sleepy. You can put the sleepy face emoji. Maybe you're feeling like you're on autopilot. So you can put the robot emoji. And maybe you're feeling very excited and ready to go. You can put the dancing emoji. So great. I see we have people joining us from Delhi, Kenya, Oxford. Yeah, Kenya with some fire. We like that. We're ready to go. Mumbai, Bali. Hello, hello. Chennai, but melting. Well, I'm not melting in France, I must say. It's quite cold. Oh, Purva, sorry to hear. I hope you'll feel better throughout the call and we can give you some good energy. So great. Wonderful to see all of you joining in. I'll pass it off to Estelle now.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you all for sharing a little bit about yourselves. So my name is Estelle. I'm a Black woman from Cameroon. I have long black dreadlocks and I'm wearing a green t-shirt today with Africa map on it. So we are very much looking forward to getting to know all of you better in the coming weeks, months, and hopefully years ahead. So we cannot gather for shifting power without taking a moment to honor liberation movements, decolonial struggles, and the countless lives lost to conflicts driven by imperialism and systemic oppression. So we remember the ongoing violence in Palestine, Sudan, Ukraine, Myanmar, Kurdistan, Ethiopia, the Sahel, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Haiti, and all other regions enduring devastating conflicts. And we also hold space for global struggles for sovereignty and justice from indigenous communities resisting extractive industries and false green solutions to countless others fighting for liberation and self-determination, such as the Maori and Kanak peoples. So please join me as we observe a moment of silence. Thank you for honoring this moment. We're living in tumultuous times and it's incredibly hard not to despair. Yet it is this very despair that makes hope so radical and necessary. We gather here today because together we are stronger and together we can challenge these systems of oppression, amplify the voices of the marginalized, and work collectively toward a more equitable and liberated world. So what's in store then for today? We decided to host this open call with 4 purposes in mind. First, meeting peers. So after over 1 year challenging and inspiring each other, we felt it was time to hear from other people committed to shifting power. So building connections will be at the heart of what we do today. The second purpose is sharing our vision. So we will present just now how we have imagined this community. Our third purpose is hearing your feedback. So we really commit to hearing your ideas and criticism with an open mind and an open heart. So really don't shy away from the chat. And we hope you also engage in the breakout room activity that will happen in about just 10 minutes. And lastly, we are hosting this call to find co-creators. So we hope that this may be the start of our journey together. And we will close the call by giving you the opportunity to tell us whether and how you'd like to engage with us in this process. So to share our vision, we must start by telling you about our motivation. So we know that there is a vast ecosystem of inspiring groups, organizations, and networks advancing shifting power. And in our engagement in those spaces, we found that they often exist in silos. So they're mostly specific to professions and identities, and often offer organizational and not individual membership. And these spaces either provide scheduled online events or continuous online informal engagement, but not both. And they make limited efforts to proactively engage and center individuals from historically marginalized groups. So the existing ecosystem is full of amazing people, and I'm sure many of you are here and you're just working on shifting power with all your strength and motivation. And this is truly inspiring. And our motivation is to add value to the work that you're doing and the work that is being done by building bridges between what's going on and providing a sense of community. So we imagine this community to really be a third space for the shifting power movement. So first, by breaking silos and building bridges. So we aim to become the go-to online community, providing support, networking, and resources for individuals in the shifting power movement ecosystem, and add value to existing efforts. So the spaces will allow members to interact synchronously and asynchronously in multiple languages. And this community will be a third space by being accessible, inclusive, and engaging. So we really commit to co-designing the space, centering our members that come from historically marginalized groups, prioritizing accessibility, and having trauma-sensitive trained moderators. And we are aware that a lot of the decolonizing aid conversations are co-opted by minority world INGOs. And this is a key area where we really want to hear from you. Who is not in the room right now and needs to be? How do we include them? So if you feel inspired already, please use the chat to share your thoughts. And the last thing I'd like to touch on is just a little bit about the timeline. So we've been working on articulating our motivation and vision for about 1.5 years, as shown on the timeline here. So our journey began in June 2023, when Maya, Sarah, and Anat came together and intentionally reached out to diverse profiles within their networks to form the founding team. And we officially came together and began working as a team of 7 people. Then from June to November 2023, we focused on framing the community. So during this phase, we defined the community's values and goals. We chose to use the co-design methodology and the community canvas framework to lay the foundations for our work. And these tools really helped us clarify our vision and identity and identify key gaps to address. And since November 2023, we've been working on discovery. So that's really mapping and engaging actors within the shifting power community, with a specific focus on historically marginalized groups and communities. So the insights we've gained during this phase really helped us refine our commitment and our community design to ensure it is inclusive and impactful. And from now on until early 2025, we are in the co-design and development phase. So we are using the knowledge and experiences gathered through initiatives like this open call to finalize the design, prototype ideas, and test the community within a closed group. And we really hope to grow our team with some of you that are here, why not even all of you, to really engage in this next phase of our journey.
Thank you, Estelle. So, our work has been guided by 5 key values that are at the core of our community. The first is anti-oppression. We acknowledge and actively work to take down systems of oppression. Maya will mention the list in the chat. We are conscious and hold ourselves and each other accountable of our own biases. So concretely, what that's looked for, like for us is that we took the time to share and acknowledge our intersecting identities. Then we are aware of it when we interact. And at every stage of the process, we are always asking who is not there and how do we include them. And in general, we are resisting a sense of urgency and trying to move at a speed of trust. Our second value is co-creation. We believe in the power of co-creation as a way to ensure what we create builds on diverse perspectives and is thus more likely to be inclusive. Connecting and building collectively with other members of our community also serves to nourish ourselves at a personal, professional, and movement level, and to overcome systems of oppression. Thirdly is care. We believe in care as a form of resistance. We envision our community as a space to offer and receive care for others and for ourselves. So concretely, what that's looked like for us is we have regular check-ins that are deep. We encourage each other to take time off. We try to show up as our full selves, and we're understanding of our own and each other's shortcomings. Fourth, learning. We are committed to sharing our knowledge and experiences so we can learn from each other. We're open to new perspectives and ready to challenge our prejudices and ignorance through constructive feedback. And lastly, activism. We believe in the power of collective action to dismantle systems of oppression. We are committed to working together to change oppressive practices in this sector and beyond. So we envision this community also as a space for members to organize. And concretely, what that could look like and what it has looked like so far is that within our own spaces of influence, we're the voices of change. Then our 5 values also have influenced our vision of success. We would like this community to foster 1, new and stronger connections across cross-movement spaces using co-creation methods. 2, a strong sense of trust, agency, and belonging, especially from marginalized groups. 3, learning about different approaches to shifting power in social impact sector, which all leads to personal, professional, and collective growth. 4, a series of actions on institutional and sector-wide shifting power campaigns. And 5, a healthy, well-nourished, financially viable community as long as it is needed in this ecosystem. Then these values have also influenced our brainstorming and our ideas of what could happen within this community. So for example, we've thought about storytelling sessions. The community could offer sessions where members share their experiences, and this could help nurture connection and learning. Sharing resources, so the community could also be a space where members share resources such as books, articles, and podcasts. Sharing opportunities such as trainings, scholarships, and consultancies. It could also lead to members collaborating professionally. So for example, teaming up on a consultancy. Mutual care. We also see the community as a facilitator for mutual care, be it in the form of collective sessions or one-on-one calls between members. We also envision that members with a particular skill set could offer their support to the wider community. So for example, members with mental health expertise offering sessions on tackling trauma. And collective initiatives. So we hope that this community would also allow members to organize on certain issues or causes. These could range from public actions, for example, open letters, to discrete ones. For example, members of various country offices of an INGO mobilizing together to pressure their leadership. Our values have also shaped what we think of the community experience and what it could look like. For instance, we imagine various types of rituals that could happen regularly and strengthen the sense of community we have. So these could be at various paces, from weekly playlists to annual summits. It could be personal or communal, so birthdays to community milestones, and activities that actually make space for our emotions and our reflections, both on what is happening in the world today, as well as the community itself. And practices that allow for members to showcase their artistic or otherwise creative selves as a way to value different forms of expression. And just lastly, some other features that we have imagined that would go hand in hand with the content is anonymous posting, book club, job board, resource library, and a mentoring network.
Thank you, Sarah. We also imagined that members of our community would take on different roles. So currently we're looking for other people interested in joining our group as co-designers to help us get the community ready for a launch in 2025, so next year. And so this will involve, amongst other things, developing a preliminary governance structure. So thus another role our community will have is that of governance stewards, and those are temporary names, of course. So this refers to people responsible for making different aspects of our community work. Although our governance structure is not yet set, we do foresee it would cover areas such as accountability, programs, financing, and communications. And once our community is up and running, members may also play a role of moderator, so facilitating various initiatives across the community. But of course, community member is a role in itself, and members will already be contributing to our community by simply engaging with each other. And so, as you may have noticed, there's a lot we didn't cover in the call, in this presentation so far, and there's a lot that a community may need to function. So this includes governance that I just touched upon a little bit. So how will we ensure the good functioning of our community platforms? Where and how would our community meet? Membership, so how would our community spread and new members join? Financing, definitely. So how would we ensure we have the resources to keep our community going in the long term? Data management, so how do we manage and ensure the protection of the data of our members? And community rules, so how can we make sure that the values that underpin the community are respected? So some of these things we've already started thinking about and discussing, and others we haven't. But even for those that we have, we are mostly interested in your views. So this is why we focus this presentation on what we felt was the basic information needed to give you an idea of what we have in mind. But even what we did present is also open to discussions. So this is why we really want people to join as really co-designer. Nothing is set in stone. And we've been working on this for a while, but it's just kind of our baby. But it takes a village to raise a child, right? So it's time to hear from you.
Thanks a lot, Estelle. I'm Annette. I'm a white French woman, and I'm wearing a black t-shirt and glasses. So our main objective for the open call was to invite you all to build this community together. And that's why we've decided to dedicate proper time in small groups to really explore together what community means to us. So our hope is that this space can sow the seeds for co-creation and also really allow us to be like genuinely present with each other right now. So in breakout rooms, we'll be using a virtual whiteboard platform called Miro to capture all of your insights and ideas. And there'll be three parts to the community exploration. So that we don't overwhelm you all at once, we'll give you the guidance for each activity one at a time. So for part one, coming together, we will send you to the breakout rooms for 10 minutes. For part two, dreaming together, we'll send you to the same breakout rooms again for 15 minutes. And for part three, organizing together, we'll send you one last time to your breakout rooms just for 10 minutes. So the Miro boards will have instructions written on them, but we'll also go over them in plenary each time before sending you to the breakout rooms for the activity. And at the end of that last breakout room, we'll bring you all back to plenary. And we'll ask a few volunteers, so one person from each group, to share a summary, just a few highlights of what your group discussed. And I think with our numbers, we'll have the time for each group to share back. Thank you so much for sharing. I think maybe just for the interest of time, I'll try and summarize what everyone's shared today. I mean, I'm honestly feeling so excited hearing everyone talk. It's such a special time because we've been talking amongst ourselves for like a year now, and now it's so exciting to hear all of you. So I think some of the key things I'm hearing, the central ideas are really around inclusivity. Who are we bringing in? Making sure that people who aren't included are actually included. People who work for grassroots organizations, for example. The second's about what this space looks like. It sounds to me like it's like a space for people to be themselves without apology, for us to have hard discussions, real discussions about failures, about opportunities. And then the third big thread I'm seeing is really moving from theory to practice. And reflecting, documenting opportunities, documenting the gaps in the space. And I'm just going to add one last one because this is something that we've spoken a lot about amongst the five of us here, which is being a bridge between different existing communities. This is one of our motivations for wanting to create this space because we've seen so many amazing places and people talking and trying to move forward for change. And I think we're also seeing the needs for connections between them. So thanks so much for sharing and for taking the time to dream together today. Please know that all of the work that you've put in, we are going to be looking at it and compiling it, and it will be informing directly the design of the community, even if you haven't been able to speak to every single item. So I'm just going to give the floor to my friend Maya to wrap up together our session for today.
Thanks so much, Anat, and to everyone for sharing so openly. I'm really motivated as well. So hello, everyone. I'm Maya. I'm a light-skinned Pakistani woman with dark hair pulled back. I'm wearing a black top and gold earrings. So are you ready to help us mold and shape this baby of a community? It sounds like it. So if you're even remotely interested in the idea of being a community steward, a community co-designer, or a community moderator, this is your chance to share your interest with us. So Sarah is dropping in a link to the volunteer sign-up form now, and it only takes a minute to fill out. And because this is so, so important, we're going to pause for literally a minute to let you fill this out while you are on the call. So please take a moment to fill out our volunteer form here to tell us what skills and experience that you bring to the table. Or if you don't have the relevant skills or experiences that we've identified, tell us what community building interests you have or would love to learn. We truly believe that everyone brings something of value and a unique perspective. So if you want to help, please let us know and fill out the form. And we're going to turn on some background music for you. So Ricardo is going to do that for us from the Western Sahara for about 30 seconds as you fill out the form. All right, Ricardo, could you please turn off the music? It was a little bit less than 30 seconds, so I apologize. We are running a bit behind schedule, so we have about a minute left. So if you didn't finish the form, don't worry about it. Feel free to finish and hit submit as soon as the call is over. So very quickly, a few next steps. In the next few days, what can you expect? We will be sharing the recording of today's presentation with you. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, remember, we can't do this without you. Please fill out the volunteer sign-up form as soon as possible and submit it in the next few days. Continue dreaming over the holidays and get some much needed rest. The founding team will be taking a break from December 15th to January 15th. And in the new year, we hope to come back refreshed and reach out to those of you interested in becoming more involved as co-designers. After a few months of co-creating, we will work together to launch a pilot community in early or mid 2025. So as we conclude the call, I would love for you to think back to how you were feeling at the beginning of the call. Were you drained, jaded, hopeful? Has anything changed since you joined the call? So if you feel moved, please tell us in the chat how you're feeling now. In a word or two, or an emoji or two, how are you feeling? How do you feel about the potential of this emerging community? Taking a look at the chat to see what people are dropping in. All right, well, I'll let you drop in how you're feeling. And with that, we just wanted to say thank you, see you later, and a few reminders as you depart. By signing up to this event, you have been put on our mailing list, which is where we will announce any major updates, including the launch. Consent to stay in touch is important too. So if you're no longer interested in the community, that's okay. You can unsubscribe at any time. If you'd like to follow our LinkedIn page for more updates, Sara is dropping these links in the chat now. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always email us at shiftthepowerscop@gmail.com. So take care, be well, everyone. Happy holidays and best wishes for a peaceful new year. Bye-bye, take care.